Hey everyone, this is Nick. Today we're going to talk about the selection pane. What's the selection pane, you say? Well, when you open it up to the right of your slide, you're going to see a selection pane pop out, and that's going to tell you all of the different objects and elements that you have on your single slide. So let's go ahead and get started. First, you're going to head to the Home tab. From the Home tab, we're going to go over to the Editing menu right here. We're going to select that down button right there, that menu right there that says Select, and then we're going to open the Selection Pane. Now, I like to add this to my Quick Access Toolbar. We've done videos about adding things to Quick Access Toolbar before, but if you want to do that for Quick Access, all you need to do is select that, right-click the selection pane, and you will go to Add to Quick Access Toolbar. Mine is grayed out because mine's already added to the Quick Access Toolbar. So I'll show you what that looks like. I'm just going to close the selection pane there. You can see this item right here. That's my little selection pane icon on the Quick Access Toolbar, the QAT. So once I click that, the selection pane opens. Now check out what I have here on this slide. It's a pretty simple slide. I have the title. So when I click on each of these items, it's going to highlight or select that item on the slide. That's one way that you can tell, especially if you have a really messy slide with a lot of different objects. You might want to go to selection pane and then go ahead, select something, and then see what pops up on the screen. That way you'll know what you're selecting right there. Now I have rectangle 3 and rectangle 2. That's just an auto-generated name of the different objects, but you can see these little stylized sort of rules or sort of boxes that I have underneath the title there. So that's number 2, and this is number 3. And when I select those, you can see it selects it on the slide. And then content placeholder 4 is actually a photo. So content placeholder, it's saying it's a content placeholder because I filled a content placeholder on the slide with the photo. If I go ahead and delete this photo, you're going to see what happens. You can see the slide content placeholder kind of reappears right here. So I deleted it, and you can see that's the placeholder. Now, I have not set up any sort of custom layouts for this particular example slide deck. Maybe I should have done that, but you can see when you delete the photo from that content placeholder, the placeholder goes back to its original position, which this is one of the default layouts on the slide. So I'm just going to go ahead and do Control-Z to undo, and we're going to go back to my nice little photo. But you can go ahead and put something into a content placeholder or a picture placeholder on one of those default layouts, and then you can move it around and you can reposition it from there. So you can see all these different things here on the selection pane. When you click them, that's when you can select them. There's a couple other things that I think maybe you should sort of check out here. So the rectangle 3. So that's just an auto-generated name, but you can rename objects on the slide. So maybe I want to go ahead and just double click this, and you can see now the text pops up, and you can go ahead and edit the text. So I might just say bottom rule for that title, and then for number 2, I'm just going to say top rule. And now I know from here on out, I'm going to push enter, and then that's renamed right there. Now I always know what that object is. So again, if you have a lot of different objects on your slide, this is a really great way to sort of understand what's on your slide and make sure that when you come back to the slide, you'll be able to find sort of the specific objects that you're looking for. This can also be really useful if you have a big animation that you're doing or some sequence of animations that you're doing with lots of different objects. So I'm just going to go ahead for the content placeholder. I'm going to say slide photo, and then title. It says title 1, but I'm just going to say title from there. So now I've renamed everything from my selection pane. Pretty cool. Now there's a couple other little cool things here that you see. You see that little icon, this little eyeball icon right here, and this little lock icon. So the eyeball icon is a hide object. So if I were to go ahead and click that, you will see that the title will now disappear. This is another interesting little thing, a little trick that you can do if you're trying to work with specific objects on specific layers on your slide, but you don't want to rearrange everything or move everything off to the side. You can go ahead and hide specific objects, and then you can go ahead and work with the other objects that are there. If you click that little eyeball icon, it will reappear. Now the lock icon, that does pretty intuitively, it locks that object in place on the slide. If you don't want anybody to move your things around on your slide, I would recommend hitting that lock icon. If they're a really avid PowerPoint user, they might know how to get into the selection pane and unlock objects. But if you're working with some novices, they're not going to know they're not going to be any the wiser. So you can just click that lock icon, and now you can see that the title, even though you can select it and you can probably retype things into this title, you can't move the text box in anymore. When I move my cursor over that, it's supposed to turn into that sort of crosshairs or that hand icon that kind of indicates that I can move it around the slide, but it doesn't do that when you have a locked object. Similar, I can go ahead and lock the slide photo. Let's go ahead and click that lock, and now I can click the photo, but I'm clicking and dragging, clicking and dragging, clicking and dragging. It's not moving because it's a locked object. So those are pretty cool. I might do that with that top and bottom rule too. I've locked all my objects now on my slide, and now nobody can move that around unless they go back into the selection pane and unlock it. I wanted to go to this slide right here, the second slide. Let's go ahead and open that selection pane. It's actually right here. You can see that I have my rectangle 5 and 2. I haven't renamed any of those things, but that's my little stylized sort of slide border right there. Then I have my title, and then I have another rectangle. Now that rectangle is kind of a hidden rectangle behind my chart, and it's kind of highlighting this July and August realm right here. But you see that it's on top. And what if I wanted it, I'm going to undo to the position, what if I wanted to put it behind? So I'm going to go ahead and right click and say send to back. And because my chart background is set to no fill, I didn't really want that box to be on top of my chart. I wanted it to be behind to sort of make sure that that purple line is really highlighted there. So if I wanted to perhaps change that box, all I might needed to do is go to this content placeholder, which is filling my chart, and go ahead and hide it. And now I can go ahead and do something different to the box if I wanted to do that, or change something like that. Control U, I will undo that, and then I'm going to bring back my chart from unhiding it, and now you can see the chart. So I'm wondering how you think you can use some of the elements of the selection pane in your work. It's definitely a more advanced trick to make sure that you are designing your slides with the most efficiency in mind. So I think that's pretty cool. If you have a comment, please comment below. Let me know how you're using the selection pane in your own work, and I hope you like and subscribe to this video and to this channel. I can't wait to see you next time. Had a great time making this for you, as always.